Welcome to the Fitness Beginner Podcast, where we help you take the first steps on your fitness journey. Whether you're new to working out or you're looking to get back into it, we've got you covered with tips, tricks, and inspiration to help you reach your goals. So grab your workout gear and let's get started. All right, and we are live. Welcome back with Murphy Mac to another episode of the Fitness Beginner Podcast. It's Friday. Hope y'all had a great day. Hope you did something positive with the week. Hope you worked on yourself, got outside, got some sunlight, moved your body. Hopefully did a little workout, maybe play with your kids or something. Y'all know how it is. But y'all know I promised y'all Monday I was going to do 2 podcast episodes this week because I missed last week. So here we are. We're doing another podcast. And today's topic is overcoming those common beginner fitness challenges. Challenges that is pretty common when it comes to starting out your fitness journey and how we can overcome those. But first, y'all already know I'm gonna update y'all about myself. I'm actually doing a little sprint triathlon tomorrow. It's in Pensacola, Florida. It's like the Santa Rosa Island triathlon, something like that. It's a sprint, so it's pretty short. It's super easy for me to do, but I'm doing it just for practice. We swim in the ocean, so it'll be good open water swimming practice for me for my Ironman because I'll be doing the Ironman in the ocean as well. So that's really why I signed up for it to get some good practice and then to give me that good race day feeling, the race day nerves. It's good to get a little bit of practice. So that's what I'm doing tomorrow. That's what I'm doing this weekend. That's about it. Other than that, just living life, doing the usual. So we'll hop into the quick tip of the podcast. Yeah, so today's quick tip is to drink a full glass of water before you eat any meal. You may be asking, like, why do that? Because when you drink the glass of water, this is gonna it's like a simple trick to help fill up your stomach. So the water's going to fill up your stomach and it's going to make you feel more satisfied. It's going to make you feel more satiated. It's going to reduce the likelihood that you're going to overeat because you're going to be more full technically. Like your body's going to feel more full even though you're not really eating any more food. So it's a psychological hack to support your portion control basically. And this will help with your overall eating, like how much you eat. So it'll make you fuller quicker. So it reduces the amount of food that you eat. So that's just a little quick tip, a little hack that you can do before any meal. I would say drink a few minutes before any meal, and this will help you. It won't. I mean, it's not gonna make the world of a difference, but it will. It's like a little hack you can use. So with that being said, let's hop into the main portion of the podcast. We got several different challenges for you today. Let me see. We got 10 different challenges today that we're going to go over that are common fitness challenges that normal people face when they're first starting out the fitness journey and kind of some ways we can overcome these obstacles or why we have these obstacles. So first and foremost, we have motivation. Motivation. This is a big one because a lot of people, they just don't like to work out. Like they don't care to go to the gym. They're not very motivated. So staying motivated, it can be tough. And yeah, at first, a lot of people are very motivated because they just decided, hey, I'm going to lose weight or hey, I'm going to put on some muscle or whatever. So they get real motivated real quick. So it's very easy at first because they still pumped up. But like after a week, 2 weeks, a month goes by, that motivation starts to fade away. So it's hard to keep that motivation. So how can you keep this motivation every day throughout like for an extended period of time? Well, you want to set clear, achievable goals when you go to the fit. Like, because if you don't know what you're working for, you don't know what you're working towards, you're gonna lose sight of like that end goal, what you're trying to achieve. So, like, say you want to fit into a pair of jeans that you used to wear that you like a lot. So that should be your goal. So you got to remind yourself, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. So this will motivate you to go and keep doing it until you're able to fit in those jeans or whatever your goal is, something to that effect. And something else you can do is make you a motivating playlist, like a little song playlist. It's gonna help you keep you pumped up during your workout. So you put your headphones in, you get in your own zone, you're in there by yourself, just grinding it out. I like to do this myself because I'll just jam out to myself, turn the music up real loud. I know it's not really a good thing to do, but we do it anyways. So that's how you can kind of stay motivated. You also get you a partner, get you a buddy, somebody to push you, or y'all can make a bet. You can make a bet with somebody, like say in the next 2 months, whoever loses the most weight wins however much money y'all want to put on, or something to that effect, or gets a prize or something. So this will help keep you motivated, give you something to work towards. If you don't have any goals, any things you're looking forward to, you're not gonna keep going. You're just gonna stop. So the next challenge, number 2, is consistency. Consistency. This is the biggest thing when it comes to fitness. Period. Like this is the number one thing when it comes to fitness to be successful. So the challenge is struggling to stick to your workout routine, struggling to be consistent with it. You'll be on 1 week, off the next week, on 1 week, off the next week, or you'll be on 2 weeks and then you'll be off for 2 months. So you gotta be consistent. If you're not consistent, you're never gonna see progress. Period. So you gotta, when you schedule your workouts, schedule them as appointments. Like schedule them as things you have to go to. Don't make it optional. Like when you make your schedule for that day, your workout in that day is it's mandatory. It's not something you can just skip. So make it an appointment. Just like you're gonna go to the doctor. If you got a cold or something, you're gonna go to the doctor and get checked out. Same thing with the gym. Like it's an appointment on your schedule. You go at that time that you scheduled and don't make no excuses. Period. Find your accountability buddy. Start small, build consistency. If you know you can't go 5 days a week, don't schedule yourself to go 5 days a week. Like it's that simple. It's not that hard. If you know, like you may just have to start with 2 days a week. That may be all you can do. And as long as you schedule those 2 days a week in your schedule, then you'll be good to go. And then over time, obviously, you want to increase that and go more and more. Challenge number 3, the knowledge gap. So when people first start out, they feel like they don't know enough about fitness to really see any progress, or they may feel overwhelmed by all the fitness information that we see online nowadays. You know, fitness influencers are everywhere nowadays, and most people do not agree. Pretty much everybody you see online disagree when it comes to fitness. There's a lot of different controversial topics out there that you'll hear both sides of the story, so you don't really know what to believe. So when it comes to that, I would just suggest doing it both ways and figure out what works best for you and just go that route. Like try one way. If that don't work, switch it up, try something else until you can find something. Something will work eventually. Something that may work for me may not necessarily work for you. So that's why people have different opinions on things. So don't just believe one person and go with that. Like I would take into account everybody's opinions and figure out what works for you. But the best thing to do is just start with the basics. Seek some guidance at first, maybe a personal trainer, somebody that you know, like a friend or family member that's into fitness and they kind of know what they're doing. Get some advice for them. Go to YouTube, get some advice, and just start with the basics. You ain't got to do nothing crazy. Don't be doing these crazy workouts you be seeing online nowadays. Just do the basic movements. It's not that hard. Do some cardio, lift some weights, eat healthy food. It's simple. Challenge number 4, nutrition confusion. So just like when it comes to fitness workouts and stuff, nutrition is very controversial. It's very opinionated. People are going to believe in different things. They're going to tell you different things. So again, you can't just believe one person and run with that. You got to see both sides of the story. Try what works for you and stick with that. If you don't know what to eat, you don't even know where to start, again, seek some guidance. But just try to focus on balanced meals. Try to focus on portion control. Consult a dietitian if you need to. But it's pretty basic. Just eat what they call whole foods. Whole foods is anything that's just one ingredient. If it has one ingredient in it, it's a whole food. So think of like meat, it's one ingredient. Vegetables, that's one ingredient. Fruits, that's one ingredient. Once you start mixing all the ingredients together and get stuff that's packaged and processed, this is when you start bringing in those unhealthy foods and chemicals and spices and things like anything like that in the food that's not necessarily healthy for you. That's where you're going to increase the amount of calories that you're eating. Think of it this way: anything that has a long shelf life, it's probably not healthy for you. That's not always the case, but for 99% of the time, if it has a long shelf life, if it expires in a few years, then it's probably not healthy for you, and I probably wouldn't eat it. Probably stay away from it. All right, next, challenge number 5, self-doubt. So battling that self-doubt, battling that negative talk, this is huge because you've never done this before, so you don't really believe in yourself yet. You got to work that up. You got to build that positivity up. That you got to build that self-belief up. You may be 50 pounds overweight, so you're having some self-doubt. That's the whole reason you're starting to fitness journey in the first place. So the solution to this is practice self-compassion, celebrate your small victories, and remember that progress takes time. You're not just gonna get in the gym for a month and be where you're at. Like you're not. It takes time. You're probably gonna be there a year, 2, 3 years. It's gonna be a while. Like just try to learn how to enjoy the journey and just ride it out. Be consistent. And then over time, as you hit these like small victories, these small goals, once you achieve those, that's going to help build up that self belief because you're gonna start seeing progress. You're gonna start believing in yourself because you're hitting these small goals. So you know if you keep hitting the small goals, eventually you're going to hit that big goal. That's just how it works. So it's going to help you build that self belief. Number 6, plateaus. You're going to hit a plateau in your fitness journey, regardless of who you are. Everybody hits plateaus. It's just a thing. It's where a plateau, if you don't know what I'm talking about, is where your progress kind of stalls out. Like if you're hitting, say you're losing 1 pound per week every week, and you've been doing that for like 3 months. Well, eventually you're gonna get to a plateau. You're not gonna do that every week. So maybe, yeah, the next week or month you may only lose a half a pound per week. So you're gonna stall out eventually. Like you're gonna hit a maximum. So just know that this is gonna happen. And most of the time, this happens when you're just doing the same things over and over again. So a way you can kind of overcome these plateaus is you can change up your routine, like do something a little different. Your body gets used to doing it one way. When you change up that routine, it's going to affect your body in a different way. So you'll start to see some progress that way. You can also increase intensity. Turn your workouts up a notch. Go a little bit harder. Do a little bit more weight. Do some more reps. Do some more sets. Something in that effect. And this will make it harder. This will help you push through those plateaus. And if you have to, you can get some professional advice, get somebody to push you a little harder, get you a personal trainer, something to that effect. And this will help you kind of overcome these plateaus. All right. Challenge number 7, time constraints. Most people can feel, even myself, most people feel like there's not enough time for workouts during the day. Well, guess what? You got to make time. You may have to sacrifice doing something else that you normally would do. You may have to sacrifice that and work out, add some time in there for a workout. Like that's just how it is. Or what I do is I work out before I go to work. So I wake up an hour and a half earlier than I normally would, and I go to the gym before. So that way I don't have no excuse. There's no excuse. You should do it before. So that's why this helps when you schedule it into your schedule for that day. It makes it a lot easier to have that extra time because you scheduled it in there. It's like an appointment. There's no excuse for you to not have any time for that day. And if you had to, incorporate some short, effective workouts. You don't have to do no crazy hour and a half, 2 hour long workouts. Just 30 minutes going hard. That's better than nothing. Like if all you got's 20 minutes, then do it for 20 minutes. You got to just prioritize it in your daily routine and don't skip one day because you only had 20 minutes to work out. Just go ahead and knock out a little 20-minute workout. It's better than nothing. All right, challenge number 8, injury prevention. This is a big one. I feel like a lot of people when they first start, they're going good, they're going strong, and then boom, they get injured, and then they stop. And when they stop, they never go back. So don't be worried about injuries. Yeah, you can get injured very easily if you don't know what you're doing. So when you're first starting, it's very, very important to prioritize your proper form. Prioritize a warm up, prioritize a cool down, and don't rush your progress. Don't try to go up too heavy and weight too fast. So a warm up and a cool down is important. You need to stretch. You need to do dynamic warm up. Before your workout, stretch after your workout, things like that. Do a good warm up. Learn the proper form. That's the biggest thing. The biggest thing is just learn how to lift correctly before ever putting any weight on the bar. Literally just do body weight or do just a bar or some very light dumbbells. Don't do a lot of weight. Learn how to do the form properly, and then you can start adding weight. Because if you're not doing the proper form, you're going to get hurt eventually because the more you go up in weight, the more risk for injury you're at. So just learn it right the first time, and then you won't have to suffer an injury and learn it again later because eventually you're going to have to learn how to do it the right way regardless. All right, challenge number 9, social pressure. So you may be facing criticism, you may be facing peer pressure from others. Don't worry about that. Focus on your own goals. Remember that you're on your own fitness journey. You're not on somebody else's fitness journey. You're doing it yourself. Remember that you may be on chapter 1 still, and they may be on chapter 10. So you can't compare yourself to their fitness journey, and they can't compare them to you. So don't worry about them. They're doing their own thing. If they criticizing you for wanting to better yourself, well, then that's probably not a good person anyway. They probably got a lot of other stuff going on in their life that you probably doing better than them anyways. They may look better than you, but if they criticizing you, then I promise you, you're doing much better than they are. So don't worry about what they doing. If somebody's criticizing you, they just, oh well, that's their own problem. Don't worry about that. Who cares? You're in the gym, you working on yourself, you getting better, you hitting your goals. If they worried about you, then they ain't doing none of those. So don't worry about it. You're in a better place than they are. So who cares? And most of the time, when you think somebody's looking at you, when you think somebody's watching you in the gym, honestly, they probably not. They really not. Like most people in the gym are focused on themselves and themselves only. Most people have their headphones in, they're in the zone, they doing their workout, they ain't worried about nobody else. They just doing their own thing. Yeah, they may glance at you once or twice, but that's just being in the gym. Like you're gonna look at each other eventually. But that don't necessarily mean they're thinking about you. That don't mean they're judging you or they're, criticizing you, anything like that, making fun of you. They're probably not. So screw what everybody else thinks. Do your own thing. Challenge number 10, boredom. So losing interest in repetitive workouts. Doing the same thing over and over and over again can get boring after a while. So the solution, change your exercises regularly. This is something I like to do. I like to do different workouts every time. Some people will suggest not to do this because in order for your body to kind of build muscle in that one lift, you kind of need to do that same exercise over and over again, which makes sense. It does. But I still like to switch my workouts up. So if you get bored, I would say do the same workouts for a while until you get bored of them and then switch them up. That way you can actually make some progress in those lifts that you're doing before you move on to something else. But if you get bored, if you're doing the fitness classes, you can try different classes. You can try different activities. You can switch up your workouts. Like if you're riding a bike for cardio, hey, maybe switch it up, do some running or do some hiking or do like a spin class or something. So try to keep it fun, try to keep it exciting. Don't just do the same thing over and over again because you will quit eventually. So yeah, those are the 10 common challenges that people face when they're first starting out on their fitness journey. So if you have any of these challenges, don't feel alone. These are very common. Other people are having the same problems you're having. Just stick to it and keep going and you'll get through it, I promise. I mean, just overcoming these challenges is a journey in itself. So remember that setbacks are part of the process and persistence is key. So keep listening to the Fitness Beginner podcast for more tips, for more inspiration on your fitness journey, and we'll get through it together. That's going to lead us to the motivational quote of the podcast. And today's quote is from none other, the one and only Ronnie Coleman. If you don't know who Ronnie Coleman is, he is a legend when it comes to bodybuilding. He's won the Olympia, I want to say 8 times, 7 or 8 times. He won Mr. Olympia. He's a freaking monster. Yeah. His quote is, everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but nobody wants to lift no heavy weights. I know it's pretty simple. I'll read it again. Everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but nobody wants to lift no heavy weights. So what I think this quote means is, I think everybody wants to get in shape. Everybody wants to lose some weight. Everybody wants to put on some muscle, but nobody wants to put the work in. Nobody wants to do the little things that matter, like being consistent, like showing up on the days you don't want to show up. Nobody wants to change their bad habits. Nobody wants to stop eating the junk food. Nobody wants to put the ice cream down, put the Oreos down. Nobody wants to change those bad habits. Nobody wants to put down the Twinkies because it's hard. It's easy just to pick up the sweets and eat them because they taste good. But nobody wants to cut that stuff out. Nobody wants to, and you have to in order to hit your goals, to lose that weight, to put on some muscle, whatever your goal is. You have to change up what you're doing now. Because if you're not where you want to be right now, then you have to change up what you're doing now in order to get there. Because obviously what you're doing right now is not working. It's not getting you to where your goals are. So you got to change something up. You got to change those bad habits. You got to put in the work. You got to do the little things. You got to show up on the days you don't want to show up, period. And that's what I think about that quote. I know that his quote was technically about bodybuilders, but I think the quote really can go for anybody, not just bodybuilding, because bodybuilding is exactly the same, just one step above. That'll do it for the podcast today. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. I know I changed up a little bit. It's a Friday. I normally do it on Monday. I will be back on Monday as well. So y'all tune in then, going live on all my social media platforms. Tune in live, listen to the podcast. If not, if you're catching this on the audio only replay, then please subscribe, leave me a comment, rate the podcast, let me know what you like or if you didn't like it. That way I can improve the podcast. I want to keep getting better so I can provide some more value to y'all. Y'all keep tuning in and listening. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so that's it. Y'all stay motivated. Y'all stay consistent. Y'all stay on the path to a healthier you. Tune into the Fitness Beginner Podcast each week so you can keep learning, keep crushing those goals. Until next time, peace, love, protein. We out. Thanks for tuning in to the Fitness Beginner Podcast. We hope you found today's episode helpful and inspiring. Remember to always start small, set realistic goals, and most importantly, have fun. Don't forget to tune in next week for more tips and advice on how to kickstart your fitness journey. Until then, stay active and stay healthy.